your host, Selah, Shalom, and we're here with another week. We're going to be talking about something very interesting today. The show is called According to the Text, and we're presenting a brother by the name of Yeremiyahu ben Israel. And the topic of discussion is going to be astrology, science of spirituality. I'm your host, Selah, Shalom. It's going to be from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And Brother Yeremiyahu is going to be going in on astrology. He's going to be talking about the spirituality and the science of astrology, how it ties into religion, how it ties into cosmology. And it should be quite interesting. So, to say no more, let me go ahead and introduce our beloved brother, Yeremiyahu ben Israel. And when you introduce yourself, beloved, explain to the people who may not understand the name Yeremi ben Yahu, because, you know, we as Israelites, we know what that means, but some people who may not be from an Israelite background may not understand the Hebraic language. So as you introduce yourself, you go in and explain your name and go in on what you're going to be talking about and what you're going to be talking about. So the floor is yours, King.
Hey, good evening, everybody. How's everything going?
All right, peace.
How many people we have on the line right now?
Let me see. It's me, you, and somebody else. It's three. I see three numbers right now.
Three numbers.
Right.
Can the callers identify themselves? So I'll probably have a familiar face, or maybe have something in my head right now so I can picture who they are.
Right. So 513.
Callers, can you please?
Yeah, if you want to address yourself, it's so good.
This is Brother Tariq out of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Hey, peace, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah,
now, we may get some people chiming in as the show goes as well. You know, people can always chime in, they chime out, and they chime back in, and then of course it's going to be posted on YouTube where they could, if they missed it, they could always come back and watch it on YouTube and get the full lecture.
Okay. Good evening, guys. We're going to be discussing about the pure science that we call astrology. How does it tie it up to the scriptures? Many years ago, on Facebook, I've always been chatting about the science of astrology, how the astrology is the pure science that will heal us all, because I got so tired of Hebrew versus Messianic Hebrews, and it was just getting too messy, because I felt to the point where no one is getting anywhere. So there's a lot of the scriptures that we have, especially in the King James Version, in King James Bible. It's nothing but an astrology book. The reason I said that, because if we really go back to the book of Genesis, first chapter, and it says, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the water, let it separate waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and separate the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament." Now, we understand that there's two types of heavens. There's water is basically a creator, just like the creator in explaining OAHSPE. It manifested into gas, solid, and liquid. Liquid is a molecule for water. So the earth is like a spaceship, and the stars move in a circular fashion around the earth. Now, when we look at all of this and what the scripture is saying from Genesis 1 through chapter 1, 6, 7, we know that the Creator also indicated that he is the one that sits above the circle of the earth, and his inhabitants are like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain and spread them like a tent and dwell. That's in the book of Isaiah, I believe, chapter 40, verse 22. Now, what is the circle? This is what people are not understanding the intricate, the mystery, the hidden messages about the circle. Now, when we think about the circle is divided into 12 sectors that we know today as the zodiac. There is a lot of grief I used to receive from a lot of Hebrew Israelites about the study. Oh, it's a Greek thing. You're not supposed to talk about it because it's evil and wicked. The horoscope, all that stuff. But what they fail to realize that your belief is based on an astrology book. There are so many scriptures, so many precepts in the Bible that is nothing but pure astrology. You have Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, Leviticus chapter 19, verse 31, Leviticus chapter 20, verse 6, Leviticus chapter 19, verse 26, Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 19, Deuteronomy 8:17, verse 2 and 3, Jeremiah 10:2 and 3, Isaiah 47:12, and the list goes on and on and on, all the way to the New Testament, or to the last very 22 chapters of the book of Revelation. Now, let's go back to what I said about Isaiah chapter 40, verse 22, which is the circle that the Most High is talking about. As I said before, the circle is the zodiac. The primary development of the zodiac goes way back, not only to the Sumerians, but it also went way back, going forward into Egypt, Babylonian, and Greece. Now, when we try to decipher that zodiac in the Bible related to the constellation. Now, we're all familiar about the 12 tribes. The 12 tribes represent the 12 houses with their dates. And we're also understanding that the chart itself, representing the 4 seasons of the year, starting at the bottom of the zodiac. Okay? Starting at the bottom of the zodiac. Now, when we break down the days, we're all familiar. We're not speaking Hebrews. We're speaking English right now. Sun, Sunday. Moon for Monday. Tuesdays for Mars. Wednesday for Mercury. Thursday, Venus. Saturday, Saturn. When you're actually doing Shabbat on the Saturday, you're actually praising the planet Saturn. Just as the same thing as Christian praising Jesus on a Sunday, which is the praising of the sun. But a lot of people always give me grief about that, but which is okay. Now, we understand that we have the 4 elements: fire, air, water, earth. Now, the tetrahedron of the element of fire, that's tetrahedron. Air, which represents spirit. The water is the female energy. We call this an icosahedron, and the earth being the female is a hexahedron. Now, the earth itself, we call it Mother Earth. Why does it call it Mother Earth? Just the same way we call it Mother Earth because it's a spaceship. It's the female energy, and the sun itself is the male energy. Everything is created that is invisible in our eyes are created by electricity. So, in order for us to understand what this was all about, we have to grow. We have to understand the basic biochemistry of who we are and how we are related as a human being, and what are our purpose on earth. We all know that as above, so is below. Whatever that's above in the universe and how it's created, we are created in the likeness of the universe. Now, I'm going to touch a little bit on biochemistry real quick. We all know in biochemistry, I don't know how many people has a science background, but in biochemistry, what I used to learn, that our body is the holy land. There's no such thing as a holy land on earth. Our body is the holy land in general. When we ascended, wherever we are, could be in America, Canada, Africa, when we become holy as people, wherever landmass we are becomes holy. When we become wicked as people and we operate in our lower state of our unconsciousness, then we are operating at the Malkut stage, which is the earth. Now, we all know there are two natures of man, beast and God. If you're good, you know you produces good fruit. Now, this is what it's all about when we get into our spiritual journey. We can't look at the Bible and say, oh, we're going to read things at surface level and not bringing it within. So when we are looking for Christ, we have to understand that we have the Christ within. For example, when people are talking about the 33rd degree Mason, when you look at your spinal cord, your brain, and your spinal cord, which is an extension of the brain, it has 33 bones. Now, when we look at the 33 bones in our body, we have the cervical, we have the thorax, we have the lumbar, we have the sacrum and the coccyx. We have seven cervicals in our body. Why is the number 7? Why the number 7 is so sacred? We have to understand numerology also in order to tie that with astrology. We have 12 bones that makes what? The thorax. We have the lumbar and we have the coccyx. But the 12 thorax, the 12 bones that makes the thoracic, is also where it houses the solar plexus in our body. We also have 12 cranial nerves. We see the number 12 in our Bible so often. What does it mean by this number 12? This deific powers and bodies of mortal flesh. It was thus to judge the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 segmentation of the divine intelligence. Those rays of cosmic of the mind, which figure as the 12 tribes, suns, stars, and brothers, kings, reapers, rowers, and fishermen, are also the 12 voices of the Most High God. So, it is so much that we need to take in and digest. Because when you really take a look at the astrology, the zodiac, and how the sun, how the zodiac wheels, which is the Ezekiel wheel, sort of faces of God, the 4 fixed signs, Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, and Taurus. Those are the 4 fixed signs. And each sign has their own planet which dominate the age. For example, we are in the age of Aquarius, where Saturn is the dominant planet that will rule our intelligence. And the moon is the magnetic pull of what brings the female energy within us, the thinking. Now, let me go back to what I was saying about biochemistry and how we could actually enhance our behavior, our ways of life. Now, we're all familiar with what the the Holy Land is. The Holy Land really is your spinal cord. The Jordan River is what secreted from our spinal cord back to the coccyx and back into the pineal gland. There's a colostrum there in our brain between the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. Pineal gland secretes a positive fluid, and the pituitary gland secreted negative fluid. That's what balances us. Every single month, according to the moon, just as a woman is just as a woman during the moon cycle influences her menstrual, also that colostrum of our brain secrete a special oil. Ancient people call it the crystal oil, just like the crystal oil that we use for cooking. That fluid itself, when we meditated every single day, it secretes and it goes throughout our body, that chakra, to receive in the most high frequencies. And it goes down into an aptus thalamus and then open your third eye. So when you're beginning to increase this type of power, this type of oil, then we begin to be Christ-like. And that's what it's all about. Hold on a second. Oh, I got another call. Hold on a second, please.
All right, go ahead. You good?
It's gone. Okay. My daughter's trying to call me. I hope you're going to edit that for me, bro, because...
You're good. You're good. You know what I mean? You're good. It's all good.
Hello?
Yeah, we here.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You good, King? So you can continue forward whenever you're ready.
Okay. Now, anybody following me right now? Anybody has any question?
What I would usually do, I will have you like spit out the lecture, and then whenever you finish, we can do the Q&A.
Okay.
Or if you feel like you want people to chime in if they have a question, and you know what I mean, we could do it that way too. So it's like no set of rules, you know what I mean, in a sense. So if you feel like you want people to chime in, you know what I mean, just let us know, and we may raise a question.
Okay,
or if you want us to wait till you finish, then we'll do it like that.
Okay, people could come in.
All right, cool. All right, so anybody got a question while he's talking, you go ahead and chime in and ask the question while the topic is fresh. All right, so you can continue on, King.
Okay. Now, we all know that the age of Pisces is done away with. We all know that all the remnant of these crazy battles on earth, as OAHSPE always explain it, is the reign of a particular God which ruled the first atmospheric heaven, is given away to a new administration. Now, the Bible don't explain the administrations of the heavens and who's what God is ruling certain particular time. You have to go into the book of divinity to actually learn about how certain things come into play. But the Bible will just spit a little topic of what it is. And that's the reason there's so much division and fight. Because if you knew what I'm talking about and you went beyond this King James Version, because the Bible itself has nothing wrong with it, because that's the foundation of where you need to be. But there's also a lot of doubts in the scriptures that leave people head. You're just scratching your head, and you're like, okay, now how come the I'm reading it, but there's something missing. But the people who are curious will go further. They will not say, okay, now, the fourth day, God created the sun, and you're like, okay, how does the fruit and vegetable grows? And then that's when it gets sloppy, because now you're trying to put your own opinion about the light. But when we know the sun is the center of the universe, the great serpent, without the sun, nothing can be created. And that's what the ancient people understood, that the sun is the creator of all. To the point where they were like, oh, you're a sun worshiper, you're sun this and this and that. It's all one thing. We are trying to get to the bottom line of the truth. There's no wrong inside the books. It's just is written in a certain way to make us confused. But we have to go beyond this argument, bigotry, over whatever is written. But whatever is written is right. It's just scrambled. You just got to put the things together. Now, when we are looking at the 12 zodiac, we start from Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Leo, Virgo, Sagittarius, Libra, Sagittarius, Capricorn. Then you have Pisces. You have Aquarius and Pisces. These are 12 zodiac signs. 4 fixed signs. We have the air sign, the fire sign, the water sign, and the earth sign. All of it has to do with the fire, air, water, and earth. Now, when we look at the civilization that goes under what age, we knew that ancient Egypt came in the age of Taurus. How do we know that? Every civilization that comes under every zodiac sign has the symbols of that age. This is what the angels of the Most High taught men. They taught them these things. Just like the Sphinx, that was created in the age of Leo. You see symbols of that age based on the civilization, based on that age. The sun tilts at 30 degrees to that age. Now, when we look at Taurus, we see the bull. Now, when the Yisraelites were in Israel, in Egypt, and they came out, it's not ironic, but the story, how they put it, is Aaron came from the seed of Levi. And we know Levi and Simeon, they were Gemini. So it makes sense that Taurus in Egypt and Sumer was in the age of Gemini. That's why you always see the duality in Sumer all the way play into the duality of Cain and Abel, Enki and Enlil, because they're trying to tell you that all these stories of the duality of the two different individuals were Gemini, the age of Gemini. And when Gemini give birth to the Taurus, because the zodiac always goes backwards, Simeon and Levi give birth to the Aaron, or the altar of Aaron, and then Moses. They had to be from the Levi tribe, because that's why when you see Aaron officiating in the altar, which he got the name El the Baron, all the word altar came from the word Aaron. And that's why you always see him officiating the ceremonial of all the Israelites' spiritual feast and everything else. That's because he is from the Taurus age. which all the rituals that were happening was coming from the Egyptian, the Taurus age. Now, when Moses came into the scene, you see the word M, which is, Mem means water. Moses means to draw out of water. So when he was withdrawn out of water, and in the book of the, I think when he went to Mount Sinai, and Aaron ordered everybody to give him all their goals, take the goals from your children's ears and everything, and they made themselves what? They built themselves a bull or a gold calf, as the scriptures explain it. That was the big celebration, the big remnant of that age. And this is what we're seeing right now. We're seeing the remnant of the Pisces in full force, doing everything that they can to savor this age. So when Moses said, Aaron, your days are numbered, we are going to the Aries constellation. Took the two tablets of stone, and he strike the molten cow, because that was the initiative of the Aries age coming in. That's the reason everything that you see that the Hebrew Israelites done in the Aryan constellation is the ram. If you see the features in what the Bible always explains, Aries and Aryan people from that constellation, stubborn, fiery people, strong. That's all us. I could tell you so many things. You're still headstrong about a lot of things. That's the traits. The reason we were so much of a fighter, and we fight so much, it was that the planet Mars within us that makes us so valiant, so eager to just want to fight all the time without thinking. But most likely we're beautiful people. As the Bible says, Israel is what? The apple of my eyes. And during that age also, Saturn ruled. And the planet that was ruling Saturn is Kronos. We're all familiar with the god called Kronos, the god of agriculture. Everything that you see the Hebrew Israelite does is always based on agriculture, because that was that particular God that influences our ways of culture, our ways of lifestyle. But at the same time, there's most people would not agree with the things that I may say about who give Moses the law. The God that handed Moses the law is the same God that gave Noah or Zarathustra or Noahide laws. Is Enki. Enki is the God that is the God in the Bible that's the God of mercy, the God of love. That's the God that influenced Sumerian, Kemet, in Hebrew, Phoenicians, Canaanite, all these nations that they describe as 7 great nations in Africa. They were all influenced by Enki. Enki was the merciful God, the loving God that took the tree of life and handed to us. And that's the reason we as people had the most greatest intelligence among.
Oh, you good? Go ahead, King.
And when we look at the scriptures and we start breaking things down, we could see how things start making so much sense. Now, ironically, we know the history of Israel from 1450 BCE, and it ended in the 70 AD. With the coming of Jesus Christ, it's not Jesus Christ coming as a person, but it was really an age that came and completed and was ready to go. Now we have Pisces. The Pisces age ruled by two planets, Jupiter and Venus. Jupiter, that's when the Most High's name changed from the Elohim, and then you got now it became Jehovah. That's because the planet Jupiter became the planet that ruled and influenced the history of Earth. And now Jupiter, Zeus, defeated Kronos and now became the god of the Romans. And that's the god that took over the earth. And with the influence of Luramong in the lower heaven. Came down with his thousands of angels and started, going and start teaching men this false doctrine of Jesus Christ. And now when we have Pisces, which is the mutable sign, then 600 years later, we have the coming one, which is Islam. That's when Venus came behind Jupiter. And the book of, I think Isaiah says, it says, Lucifer, thou art fallen. It's not Lucifer that is fallen. What he's saying is that when Venus is always closer to the sun, and when the sun rises up into 11 a.m., 12 p.m., the planet Venus fell, and we can no longer see it. And Lucifer also means, if we break down the word, Lucy means fire. Fer means to bear. So it means to bear light. And that's basically what the root of the word is. When we look at when Venus came, that's when it really completed what you call the avatar system. Muhammad and Jesus is basically Jupiter and Venus, Luamon and Gabriel, as the book of OAHSPE explained that. Now, when we go into the age of Aquarius, it is a wonderful age that we're living in right now. It's nothing to be afraid of this age, but it's the age that we have to be really careful of, because if we are stuck in our own ways, in our old ways, we're gonna be missed out. You're gonna be frustrated. You're gonna be battling everybody. You're gonna sound dumb. You don't know what you're talking about. Because if we look at the Bible, especially the New Testament, Luke chapter 22, verse 10 told you about to leave the age alone, that we're now entering an age called the Aquarius, which is the water bearer. It's so ironic how every time that the age cycle comes from the zodiac sign, every time that Earth is purged or is getting purged or getting clean, is always in the Aquarius age, in which is the age, which is the number that symbolizes the coming of the Great One, Enki, because he's also a water bearer. This is not by accident. When we look at the pictures of Enki, you see him holding what? The water jar. Because he is the god or the supreme being or the Elohim that usually bring new revelation. And
so let me interject for a second. So you're saying that Enki is the sign of Aquarius to a degree?
yes,
Interesting. Okay, you can continue on.
because if you really look at Enki, the sign, he has a water, right? He's pouring water.
Makes sense.
He's always pouring water. And that was Enki in the Garden of Eden when they made Adam. Because when Enki in Sumer, Enki came to earth, he was the general and he was the one that oversees the land operation. So the hybrids that we had before, they couldn't talk. They couldn't communicate. So within try and error, they created the human hybrids. And that's why the scripture says, for there was no man to till the ground. So therefore, if there's no man to till the ground, why you needed us if you are Elohim? You could do it yourself. You have all the technology whatsoever. But the Anunnakis, they became lazy. They have to adapt themselves within the earth atmosphere. And they live on earth for 130,000 years. Before human beings were created, they roam and rule the earth. So when they settled in South Africa to mine the gold, and they bring it back to the planet Nibiru. And then also, before they came, there was another Anunnaki that came and went to planet Mars. Because what happened, I forgot the name of the guy, but he went and fought Enki and bit his penis off. So he got exiled in the planet Mars. That's the reason you see the pictures of his face on planet Mars to this day. NASA got a picture of his face on planet Mars.
So you're saying that the face on Mars is basically the face of Enki?
No, I forgot the name of the Anunnaki god that came here first.
Okay, got you.
To check out. It's in the book. It's in the Lord's Book of Enki. All this information is in the Lord's Book of Enki, or call it the Memoir of Enki. He explained to you all when this Anunnaki came. He explained to you how he traveled within all the planet and named them, and go through the astral belt and get into planet Earth. But these two gods came and grew in jealousy, and Tiamat and all these people that were part of the Elohim. Now he fought Enki and bit this man's dick off. So there was a big council meeting back in planet Nibiru. He got exiled to planet Mars. Planet Mars has a whole different civilization that the NASA is not giving it to us. Mm. So planet Mars was also a planet that has civilization in it. They just tell you ironically, there's a face in planet Mars. But that face was part of one of the Elohim. But I will get that information from my book, and I'll post it later on.
Definitely.
And this is what they're not teaching. They want you to stay in the King James Version and read those nice little poetry, this nice little precept, these chapters. But we have to go further back and put all these names and it's a story got to put together. But you can't put all the story together if you just stuck at King James Version.
Let me ask you about the Egyptian zodiac. What is your take on that?
The zodiac for the Egyptian, the zodiac for Sumer, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's part of our body. We are made of 12 parts. The zodiac is 12 houses or 12 charts. For example, Aries is the top. It's the cerebrum, the top chakra. Taurus, which is the second sign, is the cerebellum. Then when we go to Gemini, it's part of our arms, chest, shoulders. That's what Gemini is. When people said the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, those are the three supreme signs that make up the zodiac, which is the three top, the divinity. Osiris, Horus, and Isis. The top chakra, the top three chakra, head, mouth, and throat, and head, mouth, and heart. So it's the same thing. The zodiac never changed in any civilization. The people that were very good with that were the Sumer, but the Egyptian just perfected it.
So what is your take on, because Hebrew Israelites don't really talk about astrology. They think it's, depending on who you talk to, yeah, they think it's sorcery, and then they really don't have a knowledge of astrology. They'll downplay it, but then they won't give you no insights. And so why do you think a lot of Israelites don't deal with that? Well, you did give the answer that through sorcery, but when they take a deeper look into it, it may not be sorcery. So what's your take on that?
Well, it is not. It is not. What they did, they took your science and feed you the swine. That's what they did. The King James Version, I do agree, there's a whole lot of confusion. There's the Jewish people made a mess out of it. I mean, you still can hold it as the foundation, still has good information, is pure astrology, but you cannot look at it as a religious thing, because if we have to study Hebrew Israelite, we have to go through the prophets to understand our history. But when you go into the book of Genesis, when we go into that book, we can't take things and literally in thinking that these people existed. Genesis chapter 46, it's all astrology. It's all astrology. Now, as the book of OAHSPE explained, we have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But these 12 sons, the OAHSPE never elaborate on Jacob's seed. The OAHSPE never talk about a man called Esau. You feel what I'm saying? And when we look at all these people that were in the land of Africa, we have to ask ourselves, who was Lot and the Moabites and the children of Ammon? You feel what I'm saying? How a man fell asleep, got drunk, and came into his daughter and created incest, and then created two sons. We have to look at these stories and ask and put a question mark on these things. These are the things that we're supposed to ask. You're supposed to question your congregation leaders. Show me proof of how these children of Ammon, okay, and Sodom and Gomorrah is within your genital area, which is Scorpio. That's what rules your genital area. You could do a lot of sodomite with your genital area, and you could do a lot of Gomorrah with it. You still see it to this day. Homosexuality. You see all these crazy madness. That's the area that creates Sodom and Gomorrah. You understand what I'm saying? You see, you're dealing with people that controls your history. and taking classified information and manipulating it and put it into put it into a book where they manipulate your mind, your consciousness. But if you don't learn to meditate and open your pineal gland and understand the order of life, just like the same thing where they take the masonry. Hello?
Oh, that's pretty, girl. How much they charge for that? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Okay, I was trying to get in on the seminar. That's okay. I'm going to hang up because I got my family with me right now. Okay, thank you.
You can listen in, though. You can listen in.
My name is Bonita Richardson.
Okay. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I just wanted to see what this was about. Right now, my family just got me, and I'm visiting them, so I was trying to get in on it.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, some more people just come in, so I guess I'm going to be able to do this. We just
no problem.
Okay. All righty. Are you guys putting this on Facebook or?
Yeah, it'll be uploaded on YouTube and be posted on Facebook.
Not on Facebook, but a video or where a person can get in on it if we've missed it.
Yeah, it'll be uploaded on YouTube.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Shalom. Have a great day.
Shalom, sis.
Thank you. All righty. Bye.
All right.
So first, like a lot of people, what they did, they demonized the order of Mason. Oh, Mason, all these people are wicked and everything else. Well, you have to understand that when we had the hold of our ancient teaching, we did greater good to humanity than when the European man took it over and used our teaching, our ancient sacred teaching, and do wicked deed upon earth. We did more greater good. Everybody was thinking that, what they did, they used Egypt or the Kemetic people or the Kemetic, and they took that. They went to Alexandria and took all the books in the library, Alexander the Great, and then took it to Rome, took it to Greece, and they built all the civilization and everything else through us. Now what they did, it was like, you know what, Hebrew Israelite, you're supposed to, we're going to put a book that's going to show that, the Hebrews came out of Egypt, they were slaves and everything else, and then God punished them. And then we see Egypt no more. But it's not God that destroyed Egypt by sending plagues. Just like God, they will probably write in the book and say God destroyed the Pisces age by sending nuclear weapon and nuke the people and the Vaticans and everything. No, it's not like that. It's just the wicked people is going to vanish under the sun. Everything that you see here is going to cease to an end as the sun, our solar system, get rid of all the defective things that were on earth and bring in a new age with a new thinking, new revelation, and new everything. That's why it says, I will take your stony heart and put a heart of flesh. It's your pineal gland that's activated, your third eye. That's why you are to nature, beast in God. If you choose to stay in your beast nature, then you're going to be destroyed until your godly nature rise up to the occasion.
Hello?
Yes?
Oh, yeah. Sorry to cut you off. I just had a quick question.
Yes.
What do you feel about sorcery and magic and voodoo or voodoo?
Well, I'm from Haiti. I said, you in power. You have the power. Some people use black magic to control the mind of people because a lot of people, 90% of the world, is under the hypnosis of black magic.
Yeah.
When you look at the frequency, when that's why I keep telling people, stop watching TV and read more, because the frequency from the tube, from that TV, is operated at a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
The picture and the image is also symbolic to spirit using frequency. Just like you could use music at a certain decibel to bring back the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to use an easy tune like melody, Beethoven, it creates a different mood.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to get people, just bouncing all over the place, you increase. I'm not a musician, but I know about frequencies.
Yeah, I believe it's supposed to be on 432.
400, right. So when we are operating at that level, it calms ourselves. But when it increases and decreases, it messes with us. Mm-hmm. Because vibration is what we go by. You see, what these people have taken is the study of the Hermetic principles,
mm-hmm.
the 7 Hermetic principles, the 7 Noahide laws, the 7 days of the week, the 7 chakras, the 7 candlesticks.
Mm-hmm.
That's all things that they've been taken away from us and use it for wickedness rather for the greater good for human beings.
Okay.
We have 10 rings in the heaven, and you have 10 rings and 7 steps. 10 rings and 7 circle motion into the hemisphere. In the book of Revelation said the 10 horns, the 10 heads and 7 horns.
Mm-hmm.
All these numbers that they talking about has to do with the heavenly. That's why the Hermetic principle says the law of what's above and so is below. The 12 nerves in your cranial head. You understand what I'm saying? You have 12 cranial nerves that control your whole body. You have the optic nerve, the trochlear nerve, the abducens nerve, the vestibulocochlear nerves. You got the hypoglossal nerves. You got the accessory nerves. You got the olfactory nerves. You got the oculomotor nerves, which control your eyes. All the nerves is all part of everything that triggers based on the heavens and what the earth or what the universe is doing affects you.
Mm-hmm.
If it's raining so hard and the rain is tapping in your window, there's a vibration, a sound that makes you say, damn, it's hypnotizing me. I need to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's what these people have been using. They've been using frequencies and electricities to dump us out. But when we begin to elevate our frequency beyond what they're using, that's when we're going to rise up. And that will be their demise, and they're going to be pushed away. Because now we entering a golden age where the sun and Sirius are orbiting the earth closer. Right now we're at 75% of consciousness. We're not even full to the capacity. We're not even full. Imagine when we get full of 100%. Most people, a very few people can activate both of their brains at 100%. Most people are left brain. Most people think with their right brain.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? People who think with the left hand or left brain, they're very articulate because the left brain is really a feminine energy, and they're very articulate. They very creative, and people that think with their right brain is very dominant, straightforward. Everything is concrete. Everything is based on a square. So that's the duality that people must understand. You have to know who you are.
Okay, so you don't believe in do you believe that what does it say in the last, that if you use sorcery, you will not enter the kingdom of God?
Well, if you use sorcery to hurt people, you're wicked, man. You're wicked. You're gonna
yeah, of course.
You're wicked. You're wicked because we have witch doctors. We still to this day have witch doctors that knows the ancient secret to heal people without even Novocaine them. To this day, you got people in Africa that's doing brain surgery and use powders and certain things to heal people. Witch doctors and people that could use ancient herbal to cure people are the most dangerous people that the pharmaceutical don't want around. They'll find every which way to kill you.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't want you because it's big business. But yeah, voodoo, sorcery, if it's being used the wrong way, you're not gonna get into the heaven, man.
Well, let me interject and ask you this right quick, King. Is there a Haitian or voodoo concept of astrology outside of what we know from the biblical, the Kemetic? Because some of these cultures, like voodoo, Haiti, they have oral tales and oral stories that you're not going to hear outside of the village. So, is there any astrology, zodiac tied into voodoo in Haiti?
Well, the zodiac has nothing to do with voodoo. Voodoo is pure. It has to do with being. Everything that they do is based on elements of the earth, powder, whatever that they need to understand how to get in you. They'll be able to do that. That's mind power. That has nothing to do with the zodiac, because that's just you are able to connect yourself with a vibration. Look, there's certain things on earth that you can use when you go to a voodoo priest whatsoever. Especially I can't remember. They'll give you a powder or they'll give you something and say, okay, do this, do that, bum, 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 and then you go to the village, you go to that person, and you do and you put something in their food, or there's a prayer, there's this and that. There's something that they put in you. It has nothing to do with the zodiac. That's just things that we are able to do based on the product that we can use on earth to do certain things, to create a certain action on people. It's the same way people go to voodoo to have a certain remedy, because they know certain remedy. That's the reason they Levites. They still carry the traits of Egypt, Levites, whatsoever, because they were more like a healer rather than using zodiac, because these were taught by thought in Egypt. Those are medical, healthcare, and medicine sciences. It has nothing to do with astrology.
Indeed.
It has to do with the medical health care of what we've been taught from ancient Egypt all the way down. It's a branch of, just like we look at the Bible, it's like, why everybody taking people who are sick to the Levite? This brother got lepers. Oh, take him to the Levite. Shave his head. Put him inside a room for 7 days. If the scab boils whatsoever, he's unclean. Put him back again.
So let me ask you. So if the Israelites did deal with astrology, it would have had to come under the priesthood of the Levites.
Yes.
If they did deal with astrology.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, we have precepts that deals with astrology. Like I said, in the beginning, I told you Genesis 1:14, Leviticus 19:31, Leviticus 26, Leviticus 19:26. You have all these precepts that goes with what I'm talking about. The Most High always tell you, bring the astrologers, bring the stargazers, bring the soothsayers, and everything to tell you what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Daniel. Daniel was an astrologer. Joseph was an astrologer, a soothsayer. Samuel is the same thing. These are Abraham, the same thing. Abraham means Ra, son. It has the name Ra in it. Abraham. So all these people were stargazer astrology. They went to. You have to understand the Anunnaki taught certain men to be in charge, and these teachings went to certain elites, and that's what you see throughout all the civilization. These ancient teaching went to certain elites in every civilization. And when people starting to get to know it and starting being familiar and want to know about it, they're telling you, oh, that's evil. Because they want you to not know it. Just like they want you to think Masonry is evil. There's an order in the lodge that you have to understand, that you have to initiate yourself, like step ladders. It was introduced to you by Jacob when Jacob fell asleep and saw a ladder ascended from heaven to the earth. And you see the angels coming back and forth. That's the ladder that's in your spine, attaching to your brain. That's the colostrum, the Christ oil that's secreted every month. So when you're meditating and you raising your vibration and frequency to a higher level, that powerful crystal oil that's secreted from your pituitary gland and your pineal gland vibrates so vibrantly. When you begin to understand that and you begin to meditate based on the moon cycle and everything, you elevate your spirit. When that vibrates into your top chakras, that's when you're able to see things. You're able to look at things. You're able to break things down. And you see in Revelations beginning to seek through you. And that's what we're missing. And that's all the argument. We argue with each other for no reason. And we need to stop that.
When you say, like in the scriptures in the New Testament, when they talk about, when the disciples, I forget exactly what verse, but they talk about the water bearer, the man who's going to be carrying the water.
Luke 22, verse 10.
Right. So you're talking about, so in that verse, you're basically saying that they're bringing in the age of Aquarius. He's telling us about the coming Aquarius age.
Yes. In chapter Luke 22, I'm going to read it right now.
Before you read it, do all Israelites agree that that's what that represents, the age of Aquarius, the water bearer, or do they have another?
Before, when I used to ask them that question,
mm-hmm.
they never could have answered that question to me.
Mm.
Right now, I guess it's because I've been pumping it so much, and I've been posting this a lot. Maybe they starting getting it right now.
Right.
But before, they never could understood what I meant by that.
Right.
What Jesus meant by that. Hopefully, they'll get it.
Right.
When Jesus said, "I'll be with you till the end of my time," this is true. This is a true prophecy. I'll be there. I'll be here to the end of my time, and then before my time ends, Jesus has predicted there'll be rumors of war, nations against nation. Crisis will happen as FEMA. All these things that you see is happening. Then happen. It's happening now. but now we are more aware of what's going on. And that's the reason it's very hard for these people to hold on to their kingdom. Look at the election, for crying out loud. If you can't see how you used to hold these people, like you used to think these Europeans were God. Now you look at them and you're like, these people are not what you think that they are. You don't look at them as this righteous people. Wow, look at what they're doing. When you look at them, you're like, wow, I can't believe that we've been following these people, listening to these people, and thinking that they were the Most High. To this day, you got people still have pictures of Caesar Borgia in their living room. Even people in the continent of Africa are waking up. Not even filled anymore. People don't even talk about Jesus Christ on Facebook the way they used to.
Right.
People don't even talk about Jesus Christ on Facebook. Messianic don't even come with that New Testament on Facebook. Very rare.
Let me interject and ask you this. In I think it's in the book of Revelations, and it gives the 12,000 of each tribe sealed, giving you that 144. Is that synonymous with astrology?
Well, the 12 tribes, the way they hide it, yes, it does have to deal with astrology. Because when you hide that number, it came out to 144,000, because that has to do with your chakra point. It has to do with the colors. Because when we look at the base, which is called the Mulat Hara, which is the base, which is red. When you look at your chakra point, the bottom is red. When you go up, it's called the Esvadhas Sarah, which is sacral, which is orange. That's number 6. When you look at the solar plexus, okay, when you look at the solar plexus, that's another color. That color, I believe, is but that has to do with the color. But it's significant, the number to 10. When we look at the heart in your chakra point, the color is green, which is equal to the amount of number 12. When we look at the throat, which is when we get higher, because remember, we have to ascend from your lower to the chakra point. Now, that color is blue. That gives you the number 16. And then your third eye, which is the color indigo, that gives you the equivalent number of 96. Now, when you reach the elevation to your higher mind, that gives you the number of 1,000. So you got 1,000 plus 96 plus 16 plus 12 plus 10 plus 4 gives you 144,000. You understand what I'm saying? So that's how they came up with that number 144, because that has to do with your chakra points, how to raise up your chakra points. It has nothing to do with the 100, because that number, when you count it, it gives you 144 times 1,000. That's how they came up with that number. The same thing with the 10 heads and the 7 horns. The 7 rings, The 7 rings had to do with the 7 sisters of the Pleiades with it's all astrology. The coming of the Lord. Coming of the Lord is the solar system that is renewing itself from the Pisces age, and now it's tilted at the 30 degrees, and now the zodiac is giving the age of Aquarius, and the age of Aquarius came down December 12, 2012. 12 months, 12 days, 2012. And that happened every 25,980 years. Now, right now, the sun has risen above the galactic line, is making its way up because the 12 years has come up, of the 12 ages, because every age is 2150. So that gives you the number of 25,000 or 26,000. And as the book of OAHSPE explained, the 26th cycle, we halfway. Now we're going to the 72 years. The halfway is done. Now is a new beginning, new everything under the sun.
Indeed. I got a message request. Somebody wanted to ask you a question, and they said their phone was going dead. Well, actually, they just texted me and said their phone just died. They had a question for you in the chat room, but their phone just dead. They said they're going to recharge and come back and ask you. So when they get back on, I'll raise the question that they got to ask. But you can go ahead and continue on, though.
Okay. And that's basically what is going on. I could take questions now.
Yeah, so if anybody's, been listening, I see we got some people in the chat room. Feel free, to chime in, ask a question, and, we can take it from there. So if anybody in the chat room want to go ahead and raise some questions, feel free.
Yeah, this is Tyreek. Yeremiyahu, is that how you say
Yes, sir.
Okay. I wanted you to, explain more, like, who the Israelites are. And the reason I asked that...
Can you speak louder, bro?
I said I wanted you to explain more about who the Israelites are, because I asked that question because I was taught that we...
Who are we as people?
Yes, like, who are the... Like, when you look at the world and all the people, who are the Israelites? Because I was taught that, that they just the black race of people. And then with that also, that every black person is not an Israelite, according to the prophecy in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter.
Well, there's a good question. When we look at the word Israel, is describing 3 sets of people. We have Isis, Ra, and El. Israel means everyone. Okay, every nation that were in the Kemetic or the Nile River, that were all Israel. Because that name itself, according to what they've been teaching Hebrew Israelite, means the one that strive with God. And the name of Jacob was changed into
Shalom.
Israel. Shalom. So our name Israel, okay.
Can somebody turn their TV down? It's pretty loud. I can barely hear the brother.
The name Israel is 3 nations around the Nile River. It's describing Egypt, Hebrew, and the Canaanite.
Okay.
So a brother from Nigeria is described as Israel. A brother from the land of Canaan is described as Israel, because El was what the god of the people in the Canaanite worship, and we borrowed, and we were worshiping the same god called El. and then Egypt also ISIS. So you have three powerful nations together that created this great civilization that we call now. Africans ain't no joke either. They got a lot of knowledge, and they're very smart when it comes down to math and sciences. Egypt is very smart. Ancient Egypt, ancient Kemet leaves thousands of civilizations, thousands of books where everybody around the world came to Egypt to be learned, to understanding science and everything. Egypt was the Mecca of the world. You Hebrew came out of a land called Egypt and came out as a multitude. Why are we separating? Why are we fighting and say, "Oh, you Israelite, you Hamites, you this"?
Exactly.
Come on.
And that's kind of what was going on when I was studying. You know,
right? Because the Jewish man has created division. Because if we divide it, he conquer us. If you look at the brother in Africa and then he sends you a friend request, you're like, "Oh, he's Hamite. He's from Nigeria. I ain't gonna talk to him." Like ancient teaching, the teaching of the Creator is for all, for everybody who wants to be free. Who wants to be free?
Yeah, I got somebody else wanting to raise a question, but go ahead. They're gonna text it to me first, and they're gonna raise it. But go ahead and finish, and then I'll raise the question.
And at the same token, I got news for you. There's no such thing as Ham, Shem, and Japheth. They never existed as people. Never existed. If you want to go back to the 17th arc cycle, the continent of Pan, you have these fleets in the book of OAHSPE. If you ever studied OAHSPE, it explains you who was these people. They weren't people; they were ships. And certain ships went to certain area which they occupied, and then the people in that region who studied under Enki, Enlil, whoever went to that region was influenced under that teaching.
Indeed. I got a question. Somebody raised a question. To interject for a hot second, somebody raised a question. Mm-hmm. They want to ask you a question. They want to know, how does one raise their vibration? I guess their spiritual or their embodied vibration.
You have to. It's very hard, especially when we live here, because
it's a sister asking this question for the record.
Right. It's very. You have to change your diet. You have to change your diet. Your tea is excellent because it has a lot of alkaline. It raises your vibration.
What was that you said?
Monoatomic gold. You could get that in Amazon. It's very expensive.
I think the brother asked what you say. I think he didn't hear you.
Well, to raise your vibration, you have to be able to focus. You have to be able to, every day, meditate. Take 10 minutes of your time. Just take everything away from what you're going through. You just fall down, or you go somewhere and you hum. You could hum yourself. You could calm yourself, and you could raise your vibration. And there's a certain you could do it in your room. The colors that raise your vibration are these 3 of the 7 colors I'm giving you. You could have it hanging in your room, and you could have violet, indigo, blue. There's just green circles of strobe lights that has all these different colors, because colors, when you look at it, sets the mood. Sets your mood. When somebody get up in the morning time, they wearing blue, or they wearing green, or they wearing orange, it sets their mood. about how they feel. For example, when we look at the election, when these people are about fighting, or they're about to give us a very speech when it comes and consider about war, they wear red ties. When they want to manipulate you and they want to get you into knowing that they are superpowered, they wear violet and blue ties. They're telling you that they are the head. When you look at these things, if you're not in tune with astrology, if you're not in tune with astrotheology, if you're not in tune with the high spiritual science, you will never pick up these things.
Interesting.
You will never pick up why the president wears a certain tie for certain speeches. You will never understand why you wear certain clothes and colors that sets your mood. You will never understand why certain people wear certain clothes. You know, when you look at them, you're like, I know which mood you're in right now.
That make a lot
of
sense.
The colors are very important. The Bible explains to you the colors that you have to do the Mishkan. The ultraviolet, the red scarlet. Why? That's all colors of your chakras. That's what it is. Your Mishkan is your body. Your body is your holy temple. That's how you raise your vibration. But they're not telling you all these things. They want you to stuck on the stories. But they're hitting messages behind it, the code meaning behind it. They're not giving it to you.
Why are any other Israelites taking it to that extent, going a little deeper than the surface? You know, what about like some of these camps that's preach on the corner, and it's like they're very surface with their teaching. They just blunt, and they're just kind of like rudimentary, kind of, you know, elementary.
Distraction.
Kinda,
Distraction. They pay.
Right.
All these brothers are paid.
I heard that too, yeah.
Alphabet boys. They're all paid.
One of the females raised another question. It's a sister named Leah. Dan Israel. I could be pronouncing it a little wrong, but she's an Israelite sister. She raised a question. She said, when we say ancestors, what exactly does that mean? Are ancestors the Orisha? Who were our ancestors praying to? That's the question for you, King.
Okay. Now, when we give tribute to our ancestors, we are giving we are praying for the ancestors about their valiant. We're honoring them. We're giving them tribute to what they did in order for us to be here. You could call upon your mother. You could call upon your a deceased father. They there. They listening.
Now, in the Israelite doctrine, they'll tell you that that's considered conjuring up familiar spirits.
Do not provoke the spirit.
Right. Now, why, according, you know, although this is a little off the topic, but we're doing a Q&A now, so we just, you know, dabbling a little bit everywhere. You know, what is their reasoning, what is their precept behind that for not communicating with the spirits?
Well, they're not. They don't want to do that because they may be afraid, fear. Because when you remember, religion has the word lie, and then it has the word G-on. Okay. Now, when you relying on when we relying on a doctrine, then they keep telling you the same thing over and over again. When they keep telling you the same thing over and over again, psychologically, okay, it became conditioned to your mind. If somebody keeps telling you Jesus died for you for 3 days, Jesus died for the sin of the world, which is the same crystal oil that is the clustrum of your brain from the cerebrum, it sits there for 2 days when it's becoming refreshed again, vibrating. The same thing as the sun during the winter solstice. Your body does that every single month with that vibration, the secretion of that oil, with the vagus nerves that goes around your body. You see what happened when you have to have a science background in order for you to understand the scripture. You have to get into the anatomy because you are created in the same fashion as the universe. In the same fashion, you are the universe.
Right.
Your head.
You went into the zodiacs. Now, you got the 12 zodiacs, but in the center of the zodiac, go into that. What represents the center of the zodiac? The
quadrant. You have the zodiac. The zodiac has a quadrant. You have the first, second, third, and fourth, which represent the 4 seasons. The 4 seasons in the center of the zodiac has 3 months, which is the 4 season. Jacob has 4 wives. Jacob is the sun. The 4 wives is the 4 season. The 12 sons is the 12 zodiac. Jesus represents the sun. The son and the disciples, which is the 12 months. And within the 12 disciples or the 12 sons of Israel, there's always a twin. John and James, Levi and Simeon. There's always a positive and negative.
So let me ask you, did 12 tribes or the 12 sons walk the earth, or is that metaphysical for the 12 signs of the zodiac?
Metaphysical for the 12 signs of the zodiac. That's all Jewish made.
Okay.
That's all Jewish made. When you see the word Israel, like I said, is 3 ancient civilization that has the greatest power in terms of the greatest teaching that we have. The Canaanites, Egypt, and Hebrews.
Would you agree that the Hebrew Israelites are the same people as the Nubians?
We mix so much. We mix so much. I really truly don't. We have to go into DNA. There's a lot of people that say we have the DNA blood of. We have the DNA blood of E1A, E1B, or whatever something that I heard of that sort of the DNA bloodline being E1A, E1B.
But the crazy thing about that is, the crazy thing about the E1B1 is that when you trace the E1B1 back to its root, it's going to lead you right back into Africa.
Right back to Africa, which is, you see what happened. The three great civilizations that I said that we have the name Israelite is because we did so much mixture, so much mixture of mingling with people. You know, as far as the deity, as far as the religious system, has to do with the first atmospheric gods. You have you know, as the book of OAHSPE explained, under Anuhatas. You have to go ahead.
The reason I raised were the Hebrews and the Nubians, because like when we spoke yesterday, you know, the Hebrews will be quick to bring out the Bible dictionary and quote that the Negro was not Hamite. But when we go to the Kemetic text and we look at the word Negro in the papyrus itself, and when you cross-reference it back of what people the Negro represents in the Kemetic text, it'll say Nubian.
Right, because Nubians were the language that were describing all black people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Before the white man decided to say, okay, you Hebrew, you Kemet, you Egyptian, you Canaanite, you Jebusite, you Amalekites, you this and Dukes and all this other stuff. They made all these stories. We are the children of the sun. That's what we are.
I got
Shalom.
Yeah.
Are we ready to go with it now?
Cool. I got another question for you, Yeremiyahu, from a female. Let me pull it up in a second, but you can continue on. I'll let you know when I got the question ready for you.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Shalom.
Yes, Shalom, brother. How you doing?
Shalom. I'm doing the best I can with what little I got. Now, you know, because I be reading too, and I study the same things you and Selah Shalom study, which I've got two questions, and one's going to come at Selah Shalom because I know he studies the moon and has been studying it from the years. Now, you know the vibration that we're supposed to operate at is 432 degrees megahertz, right?
Yes.
Okay, but you have 12 points on the sun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, I'm going to try to figure out what Zion Lex is doing to come up with the numerology, too, also. Because Selah Shalom knows when the Sabbath is because he studies the moon. Mm-hmm. And I know you're not short on it either, and you know what I do is what I do. But I'm just trying to get some short figuring, and people are not even going to understand what we're going to come up at. Because I come up with my own mathematician answer. If the sun's operating at 12 points, right? 12 points. You divide it by 3, you get 4. You subtract 1, you subtract 1 more. That's 432, right? 4 minus 1 equals 3. 3 minus 1 equals 2. So with the megahertz of vibrating as people, my phone's going to die, and then I'm going to have to chime. So we're vibrating at the same frequency, me, you, and Selah Shalom. So now that we're all operating on one frequency, who understands what we're talking about because we're not stuck in one book because we read other books, how do we get there, Selah? Because I know who you operate under, and I'm not going to tell the God you operate under because you help all people with your tea. And I'm not even going to put that out there yet because people don't even understand what we're talking about.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And no, all Israelites don't operate like all Israelites do. But everybody gets stuck in one book. So how do we get everybody off one book when we're talking about sun, moon, stars, and vibration? How do we do this?
Well,
and the sun, the only way is S-U-N.
Right.
Going back in.
You have to understand the metaphor that was in that book, which when Moses destroyed the calf, the molten calf. What Moses did.
I know what he done with inside the Torah. He raised it up.
The earth opens up. When the earth opens up,
but when the earth opens up, it's the sun's what's inside the earth. All you see is a reflection. The whole sun, because it's two suns.
I'm trying to answer your question. You said, how do we get people into one level? How do we raise their vibration? I'm going back into the Torah, showing you when Moses came down and destroyed the age of Taurus, because there was a lot of people that were under the Taurus age of thinking, and they continued that. And some of the Hebrew Israelite that knew the constellation change did not participate in what Baran or Aaron was conducting. So it's the same thing here. You still have Christians that's still under the Piscean age that's still teaching Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, blah, 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 and they still under the Pisces age. And then you have Israelites that understand the astrology, what's going on, and they're more in tune to what's going on, and they are going into the age of knowing. So they crossing over. Huh?
And
so they crossing over. Yes.
Then how are we supposed to move out of the age, which is Aquarius, which was given the rainbow, which the Most High said he was not going to destroy the earth with water again, and people still can't get out of that one book and move forward?
Well, that's the reason I said to you that those that are not going to the age of knowing and stay in that age, they're going to fade with that. And it's up to the
then they're going to get stuck with lower mom.
Right. And then when they get stuck with the lower heaven gods, that's when they have to raise the elevation to get to the Ethereal world. You feel what I'm saying? It's the same thing back
and then they're going to be stuck in years of working through not vibrating at 432 degrees megahertz.
Right.
Point blank, period. I don't know how to tell everybody how to get there.
You just have to be able to just keep pushing it. You can't give up.
I'm not patient sometimes because you ask Selah how he figured out how to watch the moon. The only way that man learned how to watch the moon is he watched it.
Right, you have to watch just like people like me. I watch, I observe people, I observe the stars, I observe things that are changing. You know what I'm saying? That's what we have to learn. We have to.
But as long as the Most High has us dealing with each other, I'm going to try to press forward and make it. That's all I can do.
Well, that's what you can do. You have to keep whatever that the Most High reveals to you. You have to put it out there. You can't keep it within. You have to keep putting it out there.
I don't have the temper that you and him have.
Okay. All right. We could work on it. You don't have to. You know what? There's other ways that we could deal with it. If people don't have the patience, okay, you can have a conversation with Selah. If you have a revelation, you could talk to someone that you could feel comfortable. And Selah Shalom can take whatever revelation that you came up with and can incorporate it to what he's good at. Each one.
I know each one reach one. When you reach one, you teach one. I understand that, and I'm the elder of all of us. But my patience is running thin. I need you to give me something that might help me. It's getting tiresome.
Okay. What you see? That's where.
That's when you sit down, meditate. I know what you're going to do.
Right. You have to calm yourself. You have to really. If sometimes we have to let it out. We have to speak upon what we feel. We have to find
everybody.
We have to.
Everybody
find
can't take the venting I'm giving you and Selah.
Okay. That. It doesn't matter, Kenneth. You could find one person or two people that you speak to one-to-one, and that's your outlet. That's your medium. You don't need to talk to 50 people.
All right. Yes, sir. You know I know how to humble myself.
Right. But you don't
sit down, breathe easy. Sit down, breathe easy.
Okay, that's relaxation technique. There's a relaxation technique
all
that
right.
you have to use. You could do all that. But what I'm trying to say is kind of that, one or two people that you feel comfortable with, and speaking your mind, speaking what the Most High reveals to you from your studying, and that's all it takes, then that person will take whatever that you give them and then send it out there. I understand that. Moses was not a great speaker. He didn't know how to talk. What it said, and then the Most High said, I have your brother.
Moses gave him his brother Aaron.
Right. He'll be your prophet, and you'll be God. So you don't have to be a person that has to be, in front of the scene. You could be behind the scene and giving out instruction about what is revealed to you.
I try to breathe easy, but when I get brothers around me like you and Selah and Shalom, who we're trying to give people instructions, I don't know how to contain myself at this point, okay, at this point. But I'm going to get to that point to know how to give out instructions, because the Most High, Yah, didn't give me no instructions. Why? Because I know the difference between Yah and Why. I deal with things that people don't deal with inside their mental capacity. And I don't understand why people don't understand what I understand.
They will. In due time, they will.
But I don't want to. The purge is coming. He's getting ready to. You know what's going to happen, because prophecy fits. Selah Shalom knows that it fits right along with what it fits with OAHSPE within the years, but people don't understand the years that people deal with that understand other books. And how do I make them? I can't make them, and I'm not going to try to make them. All I'm going to try to do is get good counsel between you and Selah Shalom, because I told you I was going to. Selah didn't tell you I was going to chime in because my phone went dead. And this is what I've done. I have questions, and I'm going to make every Israelite question what you put out there as what needs to be everybody's business. And everybody ain't going to understand, but everybody ain't going to make it through the purge, neither are they.
Well, there's just I remember I'm not sure which verbs is that. I know there's a part of the scripture says that the Most High does not wish for everyone to be perished, because if it was by the mercy of the Most High, then everybody shall be saved. But we know. But the Most High kills, the Most High makes alive. Well, is that the El or the Elohim? Is that the gods that he brought with him, the fallen angels? See, everybody don't even understand what we're even talking about. Because the one that we pray to, me, you, Selah Shalom, the one that gave us the promise, and we watch the signs that come through according to who watches. Or are you going to have to go down with the fallen angels? I don't know what to tell people, because he said he killeth and he maketh alive. Right. Now, you're going to have to do what Selah Shalom done according to what he believes, and making that tea for people. I believe in other things. My mind runs. We live on a righteous level, right? Well, we have to live on a righteous level according to when you're going to line the stars, the sun, the moon up. Well, I don't know what to tell them. I don't know what to tell them. You have to understand what's the rules of what's above, so is below. You know, there's the first heaven, second
How
heaven.
does it change? He is not a man that he should change. He's not a man that he should lie. You have to read in to what he told you as the instructions. And everybody believes in one book, and then you don't read into another book and see what's going to go on.
Well, you could read the Bible and have no problem and still get the instruction out of it. But we have to look at it with a keen eye and open it, and you have to raise your vibration to understand it. Well,
okay. Now let's go in. Now let's go into 666, which is 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. 666. That's the operation of melanin.
Mm-hmm.
We're sun creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to deal with that. You know.
Well,
I know you know how to get to it.
That's the genetic of.
They don't want to know the code. It's a genetic code. You know I'm very intelligent, right?
Okay. When you're going into chemistry, and when you go into chemistry, and when you break.
But how can you not take chemistry among astrology and put it into Torah, all at one basic?
Okay, so Torah. When we look at the Torah itself,
let me interject right quick.
Yeremiyahu. All right. You're right. Let Selah Shalom answer because I want to.
No. It's a question that another question somebody has for Brother Yeremiyahu. So I want to get the question out.
I'm gonna let that go, Selah. You know we'll answer our questions on what we do.
Right. So Yeremiyahu,
Love
this is
you,
the question. Indeed, King. This is the question the sister raised. She asked the question. She said, the writings were on the wall in Egypt. So where does the teachings of the Torah come from? I am confused with the Torah writings. Dead Sea Scrolls and Egyptians prove of writing in the pyramids. I am confused. So she's basically, to sum it up, the question is, where does the teachings of the Torah come from?
Okay. You have to understand that the universal laws, which is the
What are you doing?
Is in the background? Yeah, all right, go ahead, King.
Hey,
okay.
Be careful.
Go ahead, King.
Yeah. The teaching of the Torah is law, instruction. Okay, that's what Torah is, instruction. Zarathustra, which lived over 9,000 years, also were given the law. It's rules of the universe. And they just changed the name. If we look at the laws of Ma'at, the 32 laws of Ma'at.
42. It's 42.
The 42 laws of Ma'at.
Yeah.
Thank you for the correction. 42 laws of Ma'at is instruction. They're all instructions. How to be a better person towards one another. The 613 laws of Torah, which has negative laws and positive. 613. You have 247, which consists of the 247 bones in your body. And then 365, which consists of the days, and also it consists of the muscles of your body. There goes the duality again.
So would you agree or disagree that the Torah comes from Egypt?
What I agree about the Torah, I agree about the Torah has always been beyond Egypt, beyond Sumerian. That is something that was given with the ancient Elohim based on the laws of the universal, with the universal laws. The universal laws compromise everything that you see here, and all the law stems from the universal laws. You have the laws of mentalism. You have the laws of cause and effect. You have the laws of polarity. if you pull out the research, the Hermetic principle or the universal laws, the seven principles of the Hermetic principles, which is the 7 laws that govern the universe. What's above, so is below. And all the laws that come from that, which is Torah, the Ma'at, and all these things stem from that. And that's just something that the universe has itself. And then as it's channeled and then breaking down to the lower part of who we are is given to us in different civilizations. So that is something that we was given to from the beginning. It's not something that was given to Moses and said, Moses, here, take that. That is something that was there in the beginning. It's the universal laws that is, they just broaden it and then they make laws. Because it has to agree with the universal laws.
Right.
It has to agree.
Right, true indeed.
The first law of the universal is called the law of mental. Everything that is created has to be you have to think about it. The universe itself is a brain. Before it creates everything, it has to think about it. You know what I mean? So the Torah itself is instruction. Instructions to live at the higher standard. Of course, you have laws that to this day people make fun of. But they don't understand these are negative laws. So when they make fun, when Kemetic make fun of the Torah, oh, look at what this, oh, you should not own slaves, but if the slave run away and it die in your hand, you shall go free whatsoever. Those are negative laws. Because in your eyes, it doesn't make any sense. You're like, damn, why would you do that? Why would you strike your whatever and kill whatever? Those are negative laws.
Right.
The 42 laws of Ma'at, those are positive laws. I did not do this. I did not do that. I did not kill my brethren. I did not lie. I did not steal. And nothing borrowed. It's just the same thing written in different languages, which is all part of the universal laws that the universe brought down.
Right.
And tell us this is what we have to live by. And when you understand the universal laws, you will understand all the laws that were given through Zarathustra, through Moses, through the Kemetic people, through the Canaanites, through everything else. And then you understand the laws that are negative, that is negative laws, just like positive and negative. But everything is coming to the Creator, with the universe, everything else. There's no bad teaching when it comes down, when you really get into the teaching of Hermes, when you get teaching of thought, and you get teaching all of the Hermetic principles, and then now you understand where all these things come from.
Right. So we reached the 2-hour mark. You know what I'm saying? This was definitely some good information. You know what I mean? Good questions. Is there any question that anybody else has to ask before we close out the show? You could feel free to chime in right now.
Yeah,
and if not, Yeremiyahu, you could close it out by saying, whatever it is that you want to say to close out the show. If there's anything, a little bit more gems you want to drop before you close out the show, feel free. I'll give you another 5-10 minutes to do that. And if anybody have any questions, feel free to chime in at any time.
Question for Selah. When, according to the moon cycles, when is the next Sabbath? And is the Sabbath supposed to be kept according to how the Old Testament explains it, or is it there's a different way?
Well, it's a scripture in Proverbs 2. I may not be saying it word for word, but it's something to the something like it's the glory of God. It's the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of a king is to seek it out. So with that being said, you got to seek out that which God concealed. What's that God concealed? The moon cycle. It's right before you, but you got to seek it out, meaning you got to observe it, keep track of it, and then through keeping track of it, it will reveal a synchronization and an order and a system. So the Bible doesn't contain that because you have to reveal it in real time. So all the prophets of their time period, when they began to observe creation, they began to get the secrets. And then when they got the secrets, they could lay it out and show the people, like, yo, I've been following this joint for 5 years, and look, this is how it works. And they could see the chart records laid out. So, you know, like the scriptures to tell you about Passover, the Sabbath, but the majority of people follow the Roman calendar.
Right.
Because they don't follow the moon cycle. They don't know. They never did it. They never thought about doing it. They have the idea that, okay, yeah, we're supposed to bring in the new moon and this and that, but they don't know about following it daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. And then when you see that, you'll be like, oh, snap. It's a language being spoken here, encoded in mathematics. So the only way to really crack that code is to study it, and I've been doing that for the last 10 years. That's why I could say that it ain't no 365 days in a year. I could say it.
354. 354. I'm muting my mic. 354. I've done the math.
Exactly. It's 354, 355, 356. Then it starts over again. 354, 355, 356. It's a consecutive 3-year.
But you watch the moon. Now,
exactly.
I'm coming back in because I just now got.
Hold on, King. Hold on. Let me make sure I answered the brother's question.
Sir.
Was your question answered, King? Or,
yes.
What did?
That you answered it pretty good. Cause I seen some of your vids on YouTube too about it. So I was just saying, you know.
Yeah, just start observing.
And if you follow that lunar Shabbat, right? And then you follow the calendar, and really, actually, if I'm 42 years old, and if you shorten 5,
you're not 42
a year,
you're
right?
not
But
42.
if you shorten those days,
you're 36.
Right. If you study these days and they shorten your days, that means you're not actually 42.
Yeah, you're younger than what you really 35.
Are.
Yeah, we're younger than what I really are.
Right. We're younger than what we are. We're probably like 10 years younger.
Exactly. So they're telling you it's 364 days in a year, and we got the knowledge saying, yo, nah, it's 354, 355, 356. Like he said, that's damn near 10 days back. Right.
Okay. You have to know how to multiply and divide, how we going to go about it. And then, Selah, you know me, you, and the man that's teaching tonight. I love that brother more than anything in my life. You know I love y'all two brothers more than anything because we get higher learning. You know, but you can't get stuck in one book.
Right.
And all we have is each other. When we realize all we have is each other, you let you watch the clock. You let your clock is the moon. You let this other man watch how the sun is moving, and then you let me figure up the numbers. And we ain't going to come out wrong. That's all I'm trying to tell everybody. All we got to do is love each other. Does that make sense?
And indeed. And another thing to address about the calendar as far as the moon cycle. The moon cycle and the sun cycles are synonymous. They work hand in hand. So whatever the lunar Sabbath is, it represents the sun as well.
It don't move. Now,
exactly.
I haven't studied that as much as you have. So I'm going to let you do what you do. And I'm going to figure the numbers. Then Yeremiyahu figures up how much the Aquarius ages move, how much the lunar moves. If you're going to move the lunar, I'm going to do the math. Then we're going to move it into another cycle of the sun and the moon. All we have is each other. Does that make sense?
True indeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm just a...
King, I'm going to mute my mic. I'm going to mute my mic, King, and let my man get back to teaching. Because he I'm not gonna call my aunt off, my brother off on doing what he's doing, but the numbers didn't add up, and I just didn't like it. So we just gonna work together and get our numbers right. How about that?
True indeed. True indeed.
No,
so Yeremiyahu,
yes, sir.
If you got any, like I said, we're gonna close out the show because it's after 9
Well,
o'clock.
I'm glad that I was able to teach whatever the Most High granted to me. I hope I made some type of revelation to everyone who gave me the opportunity to be in here and give me their time. I really appreciate that. In conclusion, I like to always close this with Proverbs 2, chapter 2, verse 10. Remember, when wisdom entereth into thy heart, and knowledge pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee. With that being said, I said Selah, Shalom. Thank you for hosting the show. And everybody have a blessed night. And thank you again for giving me 2 hours of your time.
And hopefully we can get you back on the show, build on another topic. We're going to probably start doing this weekly, every Saturday Sabbath. We'll probably, do it in the evening when everybody, enjoy their Sabbath and closing out the evening.
Right.
We can have this on to close out the Sabbath. So,
and another thing I want to say to people before I even close, even though some people follow the lunar and some people follow the Gregorian calendar, we have to understand that the Creator, the universe, does not rest. The Shabbat is made for men. It does not rest. So in order for us to understand where the Shabbat comes from, we have to go to the Sumerian, and we have to understand how it came about.
How about we use that for your next topic of discussion, and you come and break down the Shabbat? How about that?
Okay, great. That'd be great.
Yeah. So because I think I'm gonna have Louis Ben Noach next week, because I spoke to him earlier in the week, and he said he was down to do it. So we'll probably have him on next week, and then we'll probably get you the following week. Yeah, peace.
Okay.
Peace. Hey, Kings, I gotta. If I have come off in any way where I have not been humble enough with all my questions, I want to apologize to both.
Good, brother. You're good, man. No, you're good, man.
You're
good, man. I'm a hood dude, man. I'm used to a rowdy atmosphere. This is peaceful right here. We good, King. We're gonna get you on the show as well. We're gonna get a topic for you. We're gonna get you on here to speak because you got knowledge of stuff as well.
It is what it is, because I'm gonna pull both y'all in, and I love you here, and all we got is each other. All I know to do is work with one another, because we're not going to get into the kingdom unless we depend on one another. I've got a foresight, bro, and that ain't my business. That's the Most High God, the Creator, Jehovah, however you want to come at it, because you know what I do. And I'd like to get another scholar and get him off another channel, because Zion Lex is a numerologist, bro, within the Hebrew text, which comes from Sumer and whatever. My brother, we just talked about, we ain't nothing but one people. And unless we come back to one people, we're not going to never get out from under the oppression, bro.
True indeed, King. True indeed.
That's all I know, bro. I love everybody that has given their time today. I appreciate you, both y'all. I come in late. My phone was dead, and, it was what it was. But I love y'all, But I know we can work this out, and we can get ourselves out of this mess if we follow directions. If we just follow instructions, man.
Mm-hmm.
True indeed.
Right.
Well, this is why the Torah, the Hermetic laws are the Noahide laws, the Zarathustra laws. These are all the laws that we must understand how to use it. Because once we understand how to use it, we know there are positive laws and negative laws. And it's not to make fun of the negative laws because they are negative laws. They're supposed to give you the feel of they are contradictory, but they are not. They're just negative laws. That's what people got a path where Kemetic people that think they into Egypt, and they were like, this is contradicting, blah, 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 blah. But, they don't understand those are negative laws. And, you have 247 negative laws and 365 positive laws. We have to understand that. I think, I'm not sure if I said it backward or not, but I know it's.
It added up. It added up.
It adds up about, the positive laws versus the negative laws. So when people are just making fun, they just don't understand what the Torah is all about. And the Torah, I never tell anybody that, stop using it because this is the foundation of what our culture is. And there's a lot of hidden messages in there, but they must, a lot of Hebrew Israelites must understand also that there's a lot of astrology in it. So we cannot run away from the astrology part of the Torah that's in it also. We just got to be able to use it. That's why I always close it with Proverbs chapter 2, verse 9 and 10. And that's what it is for. We have to use understanding, discernment in order to get wisdom.
Knowledge and understanding.
Understanding. With that, I gotta close it out. Because I gotta. I'm gonna upload this on YouTube. I'm gonna export it and I'm gonna upload on YouTube. So hopefully I can get up there.
Take my voice. Edit my voice out.
No. All this is going to raw. This is raw talk. So we're gonna keep it raw. This is raw talk for the people. You know what I mean? And we're gonna run it like that. You know what I'm saying? So with that, we gotta close out the show. This is your host Selah Shalom. We had Yeremiyahu talking about astrology. Pure Science of Spirituality, according to the text, is the name of the show. We're going to catch you next week with Louis Ben Noah. And it'll probably be around sometime after 7. We'll figure out the day. You'll see it on Facebook. I'll post it. Instagram, I'll post it. And with that, I'd like to say shalom to all. And
hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All praise to the Creator.
Hello?
Hallelujah.
And it's supposed to be 365 positive and 200